About this ministerial list now. In the studio with me is an economist and public affairs analyst, Mayo Kunilo. Good morning. Thank you for joining us. This ministerial list, how did it meet you yesterday?
Well, I wasn't surprised. You can't expect the president to put people he doesn't know according to him. So many of them are returning, but there's a list of new people. But they may be new in the position, they are not new to the Nigerian public. So I think we just have to come to terms with it. For me, I will be expecting the next 4 years to be full of some activities. At least those ministers that have performed maybe above average in the last dispensation, if they are returned to their portfolios, they can maybe make some more impact in the particular portfolios. Those that have not done anything should be moved around, or at least they have been dropped now. So we expect maybe not more of the same, but a new level of activity.
For those coming, looking at the likes of Alhaji Mohammed, Mr. Raji Fashola, and Chris Ngige, the list of the names go on. For them, do you feel they deserve another term or another chance as ministers?
Well, I've been in Lagos. I knew when Mr. Fashola was the governor of Lagos. He was an highly performing governor, maybe the best in the country at the time. So he has still not tried, not done badly rather, as Minister of Works. But I would rather expect him to have a reduced portfolio. You know, giving him 3 ministries at the time, while it seemed he was superwoman, he found out that he wasn't really, he's only human. So he will perform better if you can maybe let him focus on the power ministry alone. Leave the housing and works to some other people. At least we have 43 of them this time. So and with Chris Ngige, labor and productivity, I don't think he has done a very good job. Maybe give him health. He's a medical doctor. Let him perform there. He should do better. What
about labor?
Labor was who?
It was him. It was Chris Ngige.
Fine, maybe average.
With his relationship with labor unions.
I think the argument is, do we need technocrats or do we need politicians? Right. So for me, I can allow some politics, but at the end of the day, let people be in offices where they have a particular interest. You know, you spent the last 20, 30 years of your life dealing with a particular area of human existence. When I want to give you a ministerial appointment, I should give you something related to where your passion or your life's goals lie.
Let's talk about justice sector now. It's also ridden with challenges now. While not preempting the presidency, what would a Festus Keyamo as minister in justice sector mean like, if indeed it is so?
I wouldn't be too quick to think he's going into that ministry. He's the son, fine, but he's new in the position. He's been a son, I think, less than 5 years now. So he might not be going to that ministry. But if he's going there, we know he's combative. We know, not in a negative sense, we know he's a man that he talks the walk. You know, he doesn't shy away from...
he was once a counsel, an EFCC counsel.
He's been a counsel, and he's been a lawyer that is renowned. You know, we knew he tutored, he had his tutelage under Ganifa Wemi and the rest of them. So we expect him to perform if he's given law. But I doubt if he'll be given that position.
All right. Mayo Kunilo, thank you very much for your analysis.
You're welcome.
Moving ahead now, the Senate has suspended its annual recess to attend to President Buhari's ministerial list.
Sessions will hold from Monday to Friday next week to ensure a thorough screening of the nominees. The document presented by the president has 43 names, including those of Babatunde Raji Fashola, Rotimi Amechi, Chris Ngige, Lai Mohammed, and Abubakar Malami.
All right, joining me now to discuss this is an economist and public affairs analyst, Mayo Kunilo. Now, thanks for joining us right now, Mayo Kunilo.
Thank you for having me.
Well, Nigerians, between yesterday and now, the Twitter and social media has gone awash with comments from Nigerians here and there. And if you weigh those who are saying congratulations to particular persons for making the list, if you weigh that against the comments of those who were not happy or disappointed, you know that the voices of people who are not necessarily comfortable with names on the list and all of that, is higher if you compare to the reaction. Now, they say, are this the list that we've been waiting for all the while? Because it looks like these are regular people and everyday people.
Well, I wouldn't expect angels to make the list. I think if there's anything we have to understand,
Yes.
the prerogative is of the president to choose the people he feels comfortable working with. He has given us an idea of where he wants to take the country, and we, to a large extent, we have to trust him. I have my own reservations about some people on the list. But that said, two things are critical for him to succeed. That's for the president to succeed within the next 4 years. One is process, and two are the key ministries that he has to focus on.
Which are?
The key ministries for me, they are power,
Okay.
they are works, maybe even the law.
Okay.
You
That's
know,
justice.
Justice department, and maybe one or two other ones, education being one of them, and another important one, security. We are having that challenge already, you understand? If he can put square pegs in square holes this time, look for people who have a vision of what they want to do.
Yeah, but the people are the names on the list.
They are the names on the list. We may not know each of them individually, but there are those with antecedents there that we can vouch for, that if you put this particular person in this ministry or this ministry, definitely we should expect some.
When it comes
results.
to driving that vision, what do you really expect? Because in 2015, when the list came out, when Nigerians waited for about 6 months and the list came out, Nigerians said, "Okay, are these the people you have?" When it comes to technocrats, people who are world-class, renowned economists, and people who are who know economy, who know agriculture, who know all of those. Nigerians are saying, well, these are not the people who have
I think there's a difference between technocrats and administrators.
Okay.
These people are supposed to be administrators.
Okay.
Sometimes you need technocrats, and you can still bring in technocrats to drive the MDAs,
Okay.
you know, at individual levels, maybe parastatals and agencies. But at the higher level, it's all about politics. And the president is feeling, okay, if I see these kind of people every day, having known them, I'll be more at ease driving my vision. Yeah. So I expect maybe we give them the trust this time.
And the benefit of the doubt. All right.
You know, so
Okay.
going forward.
Bayokuyilo, thank you so much for coming on the program.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Yeah, the Senate has suspended its annual recess to attend to President Muhammadu Buhari's ministerial list.
These sessions will hold from Monday to Friday next week to ensure a thorough screening of the nominees. The document presented by the president has 43 names, including those of Babatunde Fashola, Rotimi Amechi, Chris Ngige, Lai Mohammed, and Abubakar Malami. So what do we expect from this new list? Joining me now to discuss that is economist and public affairs analyst Mayokun Ilo. Thank you very much for joining us, Ilo, I should say. So, Mr. Ilo, about this screening that is set to commence now, let's begin with the powers or this opportunity for the Senate to present these people, to let Nigerians indeed know what they are about.
Well, Nigeria, we seem to have our own styles of doing things, and in some instances, those are not the best ways to go about it. The Senate has, delayed their recess by 1 week, but they want to hold a plenary. In other climes, things like this are done at the committee levels. One, it saves time. If we have about 6 to 10 committees handling each candidate, based on maybe assigned portfolios, or even whatever it is you are coming with, you can actually save time and have more time to dig deep into the background and whatever it is these people want to offer.
But there's a major encumbrance now. There is no committee.
There is no committee at the Senate
at this point.
And that's another thing about us. I think at this level, since the Senate was inaugurated since June the 11th, this is their own second month too. They should have had committees. But be that as it may, we will like to see how far they go. For now, they've said there is no
take a bow.
Take a bow.
What's the significance of that?
It means they will ask questions. that they wouldn't just allow anybody to come.
So prodding questions.
Prodding questions, maybe if you've been a minister before, for those who are returning, what have you achieved? The question is, there should be a template, there should be performance indicators. It's not about personalities now, it's about deliverables, things that have been done. You were there in the last 4 years or 3 years, as the case may be. What did you achieve? What did you set out to achieve in the beginning? At the end of the day, what is your scorecard?
There's also the issue, it has become an issue in some quarters now, why the credentials of these nominees were not attached. But then the Senate has said it's not an issue. They would get all that, including the security documents now, so that shouldn't also be a problem. But, you know, how will this also help? You look at an industry like the oil industry now. Professor Ibe Kachuku isn't, you know, returning. This is also the industry that saw the president, you know, as the substantive minister. So issues like that now, what questions would you like to be asked?
Well, I think the president being the substantive minister of petroleum may still want to retain that position, because to a large extent there has been peace and calm in that sector. The usual December queues that we were used to didn't happen for a number of years preceding this one now. So I think for me, it's about moving forward. It's about spendings within that sector. It's about, okay, what are the things we want to achieve, employment-wise, technical-wise? Those are the questions that we should be asking.
If that occurs, would you also like to see the president a bit more, you know, answerable to the Senate, if not now, eventually?
Well, this Senate is definitely closer to the president than the last one. So I'm sure if there are questions, there are means and ways of getting around themselves and maybe getting answers.
Mayoko Ilo, thank you very much for your analysis.
You're welcome.